Here we go. Super excited for this one. It's 2025. We're going to get the Street Fighter ready for the streets. Let's get to it. Oh, Ducati, how I love thee. But things do happen, guys. I'm just going to tell you right now, another thing that I have had an issue with my Street Fighter V4S is the abundant amount of red Loctite on this motorcycle that came from the factory. So in the process of upgrading my winglets to carbon fiber, I basically damaged one of the screw ports on the frame. So we're gonna replace that as well, guys. Could I have done a better job? Yes, but they have so much Loctite all over this bike. I'm guessing for the vibration, I kind of screwed that up a little bit. So we're gonna replace that damaged component and put the carbon fiber winglets. It's gonna be a 3mm for these guys up here. These guys do have a washer because it goes against the carbon fiber. Always make sure that you're seated properly before you start ratcheting anything off. Right. Now we're going to lift our carbon. Straightforward from there. These are 3mm. Now you're probably wondering, why am I doing the left-hand side of the bike? There is some work that I need to do on the opposite side as well to replace one of the right-hand side panels that got damaged from red Loctite that was from the factory. There we go. Gotta remove that panel. Should have removed this earlier, but I didn't. There's a little nib that goes in here. Always tricky to get in and out. Perfect. By the way, this is so easily misplaced. I actually had to order another one for the left-hand side of the bike, which I will be putting on at some point. All right, so we're back to the right-hand side of the bike, guys. As you can see, I have carbon fiber winglet in the lower one. The top one is the OEM plastic. Somehow, Ducati put a ton of red Loctite on the winglets. I managed to damage the retaining bolt behind this one, and that requires for you to change this entire section for you to fix that issue. And it's been a little bit, so I'm gonna kind of work on that and get that winglet situation situated for the season. So here we go. Let's work on this replacement. Now, if you guys want to support what I do here on the channel, super important, you hit motivationusa.com for all the parts that I'm talking about that you see on this motorcycle, whether it's Rizoma, whether it's DBK, Performance Technology, Gillis Tooling for a Japanese bike, premium Italian bikes. Shop and support me and support the sponsors that brings you these amazing videos on the channel. By the way, if this happens to you, this will be about $80 to replace just this part. It's a fairly straightforward process to do this, by the way, if you are doing it. As long as you have the right tool, it'll make your life a lot easier. But if you don't, prepare to struggle a little bit. You can still see residues of red Loctite on the actual piece, the retaining piece. I'm gonna undo this screw because that one is actually active, it's live, and it'll allow me to spin the winglet itself, and plus I'll be able to reuse that 4mm. There we go. So much Loctite on this thing here, wild. The screw is out. Now I can get to these bolts here. There you go. Most of everything that's on the outside of the bike, they're all 4mm. Anything with a plastic washer, that means it goes on the fairing to protect the paint. Everything else, is pretty much straightforward. The one at the bottom has a collar, and also there are 2 screws on the inside panel that you're gonna have to get to before you can actually finish pulling everything off. So you're gonna pull off that screw that's on the side. Super easy. I kind of pulled it off already. It's right on the inside of this section. Pull that one out. And since this one is done already, I'm gonna pull this 4mm out. And there you go, that panel came right off. This is all coolant, since I did a coolant flush, so that's what that is. That's what you're seeing. That one's off as well. Super gloomy day, but it's the perfect day to be in the garage to actually do projects like this. That way you can knock it out and kind of go and enjoy the bike. All right, let's see how far this goes down. Technically, I didn't have to pull this off from what I'm seeing. All I have to do is pull this off. There you go, 3mm. So the 3mm is for the retaining of that actual panel that I have to replace. It's not a lot of them. There's one here, there's one up here as well. Perfect. Let's see if we got some play now that this is out. What are we missing? It's actually a 5, not a 4. Pull this GoPro mount off, make our life easier. What is, oh, there's another. Sneaky bastards. There's another, is that a 4mm down there? Yeah, it's 4mm, right below, hiding. That 4mm has a washer, so remember that. There we go. Now we're getting a little play. I don't want that to fall out, so. I'm gonna loosen the engine bolt right here so it could give me a little bit more play, and then we'll remove that almost out of there. That one is tight. That's torqued down to 100 Newton meters, just so you're aware. That's the engine bolt. I'm not taking it out completely. All I'm doing is loosen to create space for me to work here. There we go. There we go. Now we can actually get this out of here. And then we'll start repurposing a lot of the key components to the new right-hand side cover. Where's that washer? Come on, baby. There we go. It's not super complicated, but it just requires a little bit of finessing. And then now you're just gonna pull this out. Yeah, so it doesn't require a lot for you to take this out. It does require for you to shimmy out this little section. Let me show you guys that right there. So it's hinged in that little thing right there, and you're just gonna take a little bit of pressure, and then don't be rough, just kind of shimmy it little by little. You can see it coming out a little bit. Come on, baby. There we go. Gotcha. Nice. Perfect. Now we have this entire section opened up. This is a great video in my personal opinion, because let's say if you do have a Street Fighter or you have a Panigale where you drop it or crash it, these are some of the components you're gonna have to take off. So what we're gonna do moving forward, we're gonna recycle pretty much any of the washers, any of the little gaskets into the new one, and then just start assembling stuff back. This is the replacement of the right-hand side that was damaged, thanks to me, I guess, or thanks to Ducati, one or the other, whichever one you want to consider. So I did transfer some pieces. This was the issue. My winglet was stuck. The bolt behind was spinning. So I bought the replacement. I transferred a couple of gasket and washers. This tightening pin was transferred over. The rubber washer was there. Another one up here was transferred. And then in here, a collar and washer. So now we're just gonna throw these on by starting here. You could put a little WD-40 on this if you like, to kind of make it slide in a little bit easier. So let's give that a shot and start throwing things back together. We're gonna start up by placement, really. There you go. And then we're going to slide. There we go. Almost. And I did put a little WD-40 to make it easier for it to couple back in here, which is nice. And it's in. That looks good. That looks good, guys. And then now we're going to work our way back into this little grommet hole here. There we go. Looks good. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm going to put that collar back in here. Perfect. Place back in. Perfect. Now before you start cranking away, start tightening things down. You want to make sure everything is lined up properly before you do that. Perfect. And we're going to do hand tight. And you'll feel when it's in properly, it's all gonna go in, guys. There we go. Looks pretty good. 5mm. Hand tight only. Should go in pretty easy. Let's see if we get that one. Hand tight. Nice. So now we're gonna tighten this back down. And what we'll do is we'll torque everything down a little bit later. For now, all we're doing is basically getting everything back into place. Good. Only thing we need to transfer is the little Italian flag here. But I'll do that a little bit later when I have proper glue, and I'll put it here. There you go, looks good. And then now we're gonna drop these screws back in since we're golden over here. Okay, one more, 3mm. And that one goes up here. All right, now we're gonna torque this down back to 100 Newton meters. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna wrap up the bottom panel here. Start by tightening the inside. We're gonna move to the big boy. 95 Newton meters of torque. Let's Get that bad boy cracking. There we go, 95 Newton meters, baby. All right, let's throw some carbon fiber winglets on this bad boy and finish up for today. I'll throw this back on now. Perfect. Perfect. There we go. All right, first winglet's on, looks good. Carbon fiber looks great. Let's finally throw on that actual carbon fiber winglet that belongs on the bike on as well. Okay, both carbon winglets are on. Perfect. Winglets are done. Bike's looking good.